where can we do better?
There's a couple of things actually, because I suppose I was not ignorant on purpose, but I was ignorant in many ways because two things. I thought the nonprofit world was a world where everyone had a heart like me. You know, they were in it for the right reason. How wrong was
Oh
I
no.
about that, right? Anyhow, moving on.
They want nonprofit for other people.
Ex-
They want the profit for them.
exactly right. And for the record, not one person in Irish Angel takes a dime. No, none of us do. We all do it because it's the right thing to do. And so, but from a mental health perspective and an addiction perspective, went into this eyes wide shut because I was a hairdresser from Ireland. I knew nothing apart from my own mental health and what was going on and within my bubble. I knew nothing outside of that field, right? I've dealt with the mental health field with my mother, but I've never dealt with it out, for anybody else. So when I came over and I started to go to these treatment facilities, they sell you a good sell, right? When you don't know what you're looking for. So, like now, years on, so that was like 2019 when I started to go out and see these facilities. Um, as I said, you get kind of blindsided because you're sold the catalog, right? You're sold, this is an amazing, it's first responder, and it's this, and this, and you soon realize. Then I'll never forget it. I got invited along to it was like a union meeting for addiction centers, and I walked into that place that day, and most of those people in there looked like they needed treatment themselves. And I'm going, this is not good. Like, this is just not good. And it was weird because they found out that I dealt with first responders and law enforcement. And it was like I'm not even messing. It was a swarm of people came at me and all wanting me to take their cards and everything else. And I was just like, wow. And I was talking to a dear friend, two dear friends of mine who work in the treatment facilities. And I was like, am I going crazy? Like, or does most of these people in here actually look like they need help themselves? And they were like, yep. you know so there's enough. And then I started to delve into that end of things and realize that the corruption within these organizations, it's not about the best interest of the first responder. It's about getting them in the door, making the money, and how they make the money. Um and it's so corrupt. Like, there's a lot of it that's so corrupt. So you have to weed out the bad ones. And that's difficult because, like I said, they can sell you anything. A good salesperson will sell you anything. But thankfully, with our resources and the amount of people that I've met along this journey who have my six, they're awesome. Like, they'll go, don't go there, don't do this. And I will never question them because they vet everywhere. And so I'd be like, well, would you use them? And they'd say no. And I'll say, fair enough. That's good enough for me. Because people will sell you the sell about it being a first responder based treatment facility when it's not. They might have a room that's set for first responders, but it's not about first responders. Definitely not. So, yeah, there's a lot to watch out for when it comes to that aspect of things. And, the tide is changing when it comes to the first responder end of things. I see it now. I've seen it since last year, going out to a couple of treatment facilities, whereas they're trying to move away from the first responder end of things and make it more about professionals, i.e., doctors, pilots, all this. Because if you isolate yourself within that first responder community, you just touched on it earlier on. Whereas if you're having a group session and it's about mental health, and a whole bunch of first responders is in there, and then one person's talking about their trauma, and he's going, well, I can trump that, you know what I mean? And he starts talking about his, and then it's like, before you know it, it's counterproductive to their healing. So they're trying to move away from that and try and bring in other professionals to show, what, we're all equals here, and we all deserve the right to we all struggle, and we all deserve the right to heal, and show that it's okay to not be okay in any profession, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have Irish Angel have a. I've got your website up, so if you guys are listening, I'm going to show their website real quick. But if uh, if you guys, you should start getting a naughty list together. You know what I mean? Like just have ones that you guys like, we don't recommend this place
Oh
over
my
here for
God.
Irish Angel. Um but any other issues that you've seen on since you've been over here other than the nonprofits that are out for themselves, cuz that is definitely a thing.
Oh,
I've
it's
seen that.
definitely a thing. Yeah, and people, it's really it. I've been burnt a couple of times, and I've been burnt because I guess I didn't come from this world. Like I didn't come from one, I didn't come from America. Two, I didn't come from the forces, so I had no clue. You know, you tend to trust very easy when it's someone who's involved in law enforcement. You think everybody is a good person, right? Um, but that's not always the case. And so people can use you to piggyback off of your your profile basically. So that happens quite a lot. They pretend that they're in it for the right reason and that they're in it to help first responders, and they can talk a good talk. They know how to talk the lingo. But you know, there's a lot of bad eggs out there, that a lot of bad actors, and you just have to be very very careful when it comes to partnering with certain people. I've learned
Yeah.
the hard way. I've learned the hard way. And not everybody it you know, you can paint a great picture of yourself, you can pretend to be anything you want to be online, but the proof is in the pudding. I'm all about get out there, meet people. You know, actions speak louder than words for me. So
Yeah.
I'm very much about that.
Yeah, I've had people trying to jump on the bandwagon with the podcast now that it's being successful, and
Mm-hmm.
they, oh man, we love your mission, we love what you're trying to do, we want to do this, we want to do that. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then when it comes time to do things, they just want to use the name,
Yeah, that's it.
which, and I'm not saying I have this big great name by any
No, but you're
means. I
right. You were 100% right. So